Hey guys, we're back with our Godzilla vs. Kong spoiler discussion. That's right. It's me, Harry, off the side of the camera with my co-hosts Tyrone and Adam. I am
How are the co-hosts the only ones that are on camera?
I am the official head cynic. I'm behind
He's the big brother.
camera. I am the big brother.
He's in the camera.
You could
He
say
is
I
the
am
camera.
the king of the cynics. That's right. Relevant segue. We're into spoiler discussion, and Tyrone's not going to use any of this. So, what did you think, boys?
Well, we already gave our thoughts. Now this
We
is on
gave
the
us
spoilers.
spoiler-free.
I can't believe it. Godzilla's dead. I did not see that coming.
Kong's a girl?
Oh!
They had interracial.
There's a reason they said there's a reason
Interspecial
they never
babies.
called him King
Yeah.
Kong. He was Queen Kong.
Yes, Queen.
On-
I couldn't believe that Millie Bobby Brown said that at the end of the movie.
Tyrone,
She said, yes, Queen Kong.
Yeah.
it broke new ground.
It broke new ground. I love this movie.
The future is female.
The future is now.
Brie Larson was playing Godzilla.
Oh no! We're gonna piss off the internet.
It was like Ratatouille. She was on top of his head.
Kong.
Anyway, none of that is true.
Yeah, poking the bear.
No one died, which we all saw coming. Pretty much.
Two people died. Their names? Villain and Villain's daughter.
Yeah, no one
First
can
off,
remember.
I just want to start the start of the movie was like really interesting where King Kong's walking around,
Yeah.
picks up a tree, shreds it, you're like, oh, is he getting ready for his axe already?
Yeah, there's-
and then tosses it at he's living under the dome.
He's in the Truman Show. He's in the
Yeah.
Hunger Games.
Yeah, like he tosses it. I'm thinking, is he gonna catch a big bird to eat? And then it just hits the side of the dome and it goes. Bzzz. It's like, oh my god.
And we're introduced to the little girl who was nowhere near as annoying as I thought she was going to
It's
be.
because she couldn't talk.
That's probably it. Kids in movies that talk are often very annoying.
Yes.
But that was like cool setup. I loved the opening credits. The way it just kind of says defeated, and then
just a bracket.
at the end it built up to a bracket of Godzilla vs. Kong.
a new challenger approaches.
That was the moment where you realize this movie knows exactly what it's going to be,
Yeah.
and it was fun. And there was never a scene where there were scenes where you went, huh? But there was never a scene where you went like, oh god, like how many Titans are there? 17 in Godzilla 2.
Oh yeah.
Like there was never.
And then
a
none
moment-
of them appeared in this one.
No, none of them. This movie's relatively clean cut. There's two main plots. A third minor one which gets introduced halfway through. But there's Godzilla, and then his human characters are Millie Bobby Brown, Julian Dennison, and Tyree Henry.
Yep.
And they're trying to figure out what's going on with Godzilla. And then there's King Kong's plot, where he's being followed around by
Alexander
Skarsgård.
He was Tarzan,
Dr.
wasn't he?
Nathan something.
Nathan
I
something.
remembered one character's name and I was
What's that his
super
name?
proud. Nathan something or other.
Yeah.
What was Millie Bobby Brown's character's name? Just up with the N.
Ellie Russell?
No,
Madison Russell.
Didn't start with N.
Yeah.
Remember the first letter.
And what was Brian Tyree Henry? They kept saying his name.
Tap water.
Not Alfred.
Bernie.
Bernie.
His name was Bernie, and so basically the setup is that his character is a podcaster who works for not Monarch.
Apex.
So Monarch is still, Monarch takes a backseat to Apex. So Apex is our new Cybertronics
Was
group.
Monarch the people that were taking care of King
Monarch
Kong?
was, looking and studying and researching the Titans.
They went full pacifist. That's weird.
No, and Apex apparently is
A
now.
response to 10 years ago when Godzilla first came on the scene. They
Yeah.
started building a countermeasure.
So they're trying to figure out, okay, Rebecca Hall, Alex Skarsgård, and what's the girl's name? Gosh, cannot find her anywhere. Little girl. They are trying to, they're the Kong human characters.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they follow him around, and so we then are introduced to King Kong. Just comes up to Florida, to the Apex facility, and wrecks shop. This is the moment where I realized this film was going to be different and for lack of a word, more badass.
You see him wrecking shop.
You see
Just straight up.
And this is, I mean, it's appropriate collateral damage because it's fucking monsters. And they ruin cities like they would in an old Godzilla movie.
But there's not heaps of collateral damage. It's really like he gets
at the end
the thing. But I mean, in Florida, he's from the beach. He's attacking the beachfront.
He's attacking the facility.
He attacks one facility and then he leaves.
But he's not kind of crushing hotels to get there and like obliterating the orphanage next door. It's like, let's get the apex.
So Brian Tyree Henry character is like running around trying to figure out the truth because he's podcasting the Titan
Truth podcast.
Titan Truth podcast.
Yeah.
And so he eventually runs in when the whole place is getting evacuated and says, and basically sees like this weird bowl, or I thought it was a portal at first.
I was like, it kind of looks like an eye.
Yeah, I was like, is that an engine or something?
An engine or an eye was...
Yeah, and then you later find out it is the eye for...
Just say it.
Mechagodzilla.
Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, what does he call him first?
That was the one line which did make...
Godzilla.
Yeah, and then Hunt for Builder People guy says, no, it's Mechagodzilla.
That was the one line that made me cringe.
Yeah, it was very on the nose, wink into the audience.
I like
is that, going back to my bingo, is that the equivalent of they call him... I feel like that's on the nose. And
what was in your bingo?
They call him...
But no, he's he's like, that's not...
that's Mechagodzilla.
But they weren't, it's not like, your one was they call him as if he's already got an established name. Like
Mechagodzilla sounded like there was an established
Did the bad guys ever have a name for him?
No.
Yeah.
They never referred to him by any name. But, so yeah, they're building, obviously, what turns out to be Mechagodzilla, because we're in spoilers now.
His design was... Meh.
Yeah, it wasn't
his head was...
I did like
too
the
square.
claws, but it was kind of a weird design.
I don't know. They didn't go all out on him, which I thought they should have.
I expected
because everything else about the movie was just all out.
Yeah.
But like, it was kind of just a boxy guy.
Too many right angles on the head.
What I liked is how this movie didn't waste any time. It was basically the next scene. They're basically like, all right, well, fuck it. Godzilla's gone rogue. We got to get King Kong and we got to get him to fight Godzilla. And straight away, he was literally on the boat there, the next scene.
It was like within the first 30 minutes, the boat fight happens and everything. King Kong loses that.
The boat fight was like 45 minutes.
Yeah, because we set up characters.
Reckon?
And the characters I liked. Like the little girl, so she's deaf, so there's like this intro...
Which was, I feel, fascinating representation. Really, really good.
Makes for some great scenes. Like that scene where she puts her hand against the wall and she can hear the vibrations of the end of Godzilla's like roar. Like...
And she's like, Godzilla's coming.
Yeah,
Godzilla's
she knows it's on its way. Her mother, Rebecca Hall, like, she was fine.
Yeah.
She was kind of just there so she could verbalize to us or what the little girl was thinking.
Yeah.
Alex Skarsgård's character, I actually really liked.
Yeah.
He had motivate, like he lost his brother trying to do this thing and now...
I was waiting for the brother to be Aaron Taylor-Johnson.
I thought that, yeah.
I mean, we have so many side characters between 3 movies that the fact that his brother that never had a scene wasn't one of them was baffling to me.
Yeah. So it's... so we get them and then King Kong gets loaded on the boat. I mean, we'll cut back to Millie Bobby Brown, Julian Dennison. It's kind of like it's a domino effect, their story. They go from place to place and they... go to, I guess, like a Chinatown place and eventually find out that he does cleaning in bleach, so he doesn't leave bio...
Yeah, they find
biotracking or something.
Through Ronnie Chang.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ronnie Chang was in the movie.
Australia's own Ronnie Chang.
That was very weird.
I was not expecting that at all. I liked it.
It was funny. He didn't really have much to do, but...
No.
It's just like... Hey, this guy's here.
Yeah, and it wasn't too much like...
If you buy live fish, I will give you the information you need.
To me, the biggest example of too much from a cameo in a movie is Kevin Hart and Hobbs and Shaw. where it goes on way too long and the joke gets old really quickly.
Yeah.
This was like, I mean, Ronnie Cheng's not international name. He got big from Crazy Rich Asians when he was in that.
True.
But
and I believe he's going to be in Shang-Chi as well, which
this was
awesome.
This was
really?
This was fun.
Yeah.
So then he basically leads them to Bernie, and Bernie only recognizes her because Maddie Russell's mother is. I guess she's being there. There's one headline I noticed where it said hero or savior or villain or something like that about Vera Farmiga's character.
She's been made a martyr
Yeah.
through, not a Martha, a martyr.
Yeah. So, one thing I did notice, so basically at the end of Godzilla King of the Monsters, where there was implication that the entire world was getting fucked up, I guess Godzilla basically, when he came out at the end of the movie, he was basically said to all the other Titans, just like, go home or I'll fuck you up. Is that the implication?
Yeah, hey kids, settle down.
He stands on the anthill and he just goes into the sky.
Yeah.
He looks so tiny in that last scene.
Yeah. And then, so they basically, they meet him and then they're like, oh, we think something's up. And Tyree Henry gets a pretty, like, decent moment of character development where it's like he had a dead wife and then there was that nice line about the whiskey, which came back later.
I felt the introduction of that was a bit ham-fisted.
It was.
I felt like it being on the table, I was like, this is good, but it's also like, what's that in your pocket?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not a gun, it's whiskey.
Yeah.
It's like, we could have found a better way to get here.
I think it also just feeds into he's a bit of...
I think it's just... The movie was really fast paced. Like they wanted to just get it out of the way.
Yeah, I didn't mind the way they did it, and so basically it's at that time around where Eiza González character gets introduced. She was a very weak. She felt like
She was very annoying.
as soon as she got on, she was very much I'm in charge now. Oh, look at you, you're so dumb.
My father will hear about this.
Yeah, we've met
very sassy.
and her father was introduced to Skarsgård at the start of the movie. Nathan. Wait, it's Alex Skarsgård? He was Tarzan, right?
Yeah.
Bill Skarsgård is
Pennywise.
Yes.
and Stellan is Mamma Mia. and Thor.
And Thor,
But Mamma Mia.
There's another Skarsgård son, isn't there?
Bill,
Is it three
Alex,
of them?
Stellan.
Stellan's the father. Bill, Alex, and...
Let's look it up. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, and
Jerry.
that's when... So it's around this time when we get the Godzilla, the boat fight, which was... to me, that was the first sign that this movie is going to be awesome and all out with its
There's
monsters.
a good
Tyrone,
stuff.
You
Skarsgård.
said that about the attack on Apex. That was the first sign that this movie was going to be awesome.
That was the first sign that was going to be intense. This one was just that, alright, there's nothing that they won't do with these. And that fight was fucking cool.
Man, like, Kong's getting in all the punches, but he's also always on the ropes.
Yeah!
And Godzilla does, like, the death roll with him and, like, almost drowns Kong.
Like, breathtaking. Like, the shot you see from the trailer where Kong punches Godzilla, but then Godzilla returns fire straight away, and I don't know, maybe they extended Godzilla's arms a bit so he could throw those punches.
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't know. He really let him rip, and that fight was like really well done considering it's kind of limiting. You've got only a couple of battleships and the ocean.
Yeah, I was very surprised with how much they managed to do.
They had
the
Godzilla...
limited amount they had.
Godzilla doing, like, the laser breath was amazing. Like, that shot where Kong, like, looks down the water and the laser breath goes up. And it just... I love it. I just loved it when they cut to those...
normal jump instead of a monkey flip.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was unfortunately no monk flip.
There was no body slams either in the traditional sense that we were talking about. But, yeah, that fight was... really something exciting.
I kind of thought they were going to give Kong the upper hand in that fight, but then make him like the defensive one. Because he looks over at battleships and I'm like, oh, is he going to stop Godzilla from like attacking them? And then he like uses them as launch pads. He jumps from one to the next. Like, oh, he doesn't care.
He only cared about that little girl.
Which I mean, like, sure.
I mean, that's just the thing, isn't it? Godzilla's only cared about one woman. Who that woman is depends on the situation, but I mean,
King Kong.
I found that this little girl was the most interesting human opposite that King Kong's ever had.
Yeah, well,
I found
the first one. It's a very sexist and racist movie.
Oh, it is incredibly sexist, and I don't mind what they've done in the later King Kong movies, but I don't know, just the sign language thing with her being deaf. Like, sure, at times it was a little but I mean, at the same time, it's like, it's a movie called King Kong. It's a movie where Godzilla fights King Kong. How serious am I taking this? And what he does,
exactly.
He only knows home as his sign language, so...
Well, I mean, we only see him do home.
Well, I thought it
She's
was implied that he also had been speaking to her about other stuff.
He's been telling me, and then she goes, like, really complex things, and then you see him go, like, home.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, so that's the only thing he ever signs.
Gorgeous visual moments, which on IMAX really popped, like when he puts, like he does the E.T. finger touch.
You see it in the trailer too.
Yeah.
On the IMAX.
On IMAX, it really came out at you.
Lots of great colours too.
Yeah. Compared to King of the Monsters, where it was all just blue and orange, which wasn't really too hot on. This one, especially when they got to Hong Kong.
Oh,
colour
because all the buildings,
yeah,
like LED lights all over them, different colours.
It wasn't like the Dark Phoenix Force Awakens poster, which was Godzilla King of the Monsters.
It's like every moment they could use different lighting they did. Like even when they were going down in that elevator, they had the purple lighting.
Yeah. Well, even the boat fight, it was daylight.
Yeah,
it's like
and then
we don't
the
get
way that
fights.
the orange sky, the sunset contrasted with the ocean. I found that, I don't know, just that simple visual was really cool to look at. And and then we cut back to so basically Godzilla wins. King Kong basically submits, or doesn't submit, just it's kind of
the humans submit.
They shut off the boat engines and basically say, all right, we give up, and King Kong's like lying there.
He's like passed out. He's catching his breath.
Godzilla is brutal in this movie. This is the best we've seen Godzilla.
He's ruthless.
He was faster, stronger, more agile. It was like CrossFit Godzilla, this one. He was awesome.
He's been putting in the hard yards.
He took no shit.
He's been doing reps in the Hollow Earth. He's got a gym set up with Mark Wahlberg.
And this movie was probably the best at the humanizing element of the monsters. Because I think King Kong, or Kong, is the protagonist in this movie.
Yeah, yes.
The characters are all his sidekicks in a way, or just surrogates, but he is the main character, which was really cool to see. And then, so basically, Millie Bobby Brown, Tyree Henry, Julian Dennison, they find the Apex underground chute, and there's like, why are there skull crawler eggs in these things, and they get transported to Hong Kong.
Yeah, tunnel takes them from the Apex Center that got destroyed in Florida to the Hong Kong one. And then they get taken into a giant chamber.
Yeah. And then we
they
cut
get
away.
Into a gladiator arena.
Yeah.
And you're like, I think I can figure out what's about to happen. But you cut away and keep your secrets moving.
Yeah. So then we go to... They take Kong to Antarctica. Well, there was a real missed opportunity. They said, how do you think he'll travel by air? And they just did helicopters instead of tying balloons to him, which would have been way better. And so they fly into Antarctica and they say, all right, here's what we've been trying to get to. We're trying to get Kong to lead these monsters down into the Hollow Earth
down
or something.
This tunnel. We don't know which way to go in this tunnel. Please lead us.
Well, no, it wasn't because they had done it before where the last people that went in there died. His brother
that was
died.
Because of the gravity things, which the ships
and they
were
had
supposed to come
sweet
back.
so now they happen to
sci-fi
have
Star Trek ships to
They were
navigate
pretty much
their way.
spaceships.
Yeah. They were Star Trek shuttles, which they used. And so Kong, the girl tells Kong that his family will be down there.
Might be down there.
Yeah.
Because I was like, they're going to get this 8-year-old to be like, oh yeah, all your friends are down there.
Well, she said
Harry
they
and the
might
Hendersons.
be, so she's not like...
But then she said might, and I'm like, okay, good, it's not a place.
And then Kong goes through that ice cave and falls into...
He trips and falls.
He falls into Middle Earth.
There's a portal. I wasn't expecting there to be a portal
I
type
love
thing
that
for them to get in there.
I love the visual of when they exit, they see Kong go through it, and it's like that line gets stretched out, and then the screen just goes black, and you just hear that whong when they exit. And I love that visual of like they're going down, and then they're trying to adjust the anti-gravity things, and meanwhile it's throwing them all over the place, and Kong's just getting thrown up and down with them. The movie had completely embraced its completely like wacky, silly side by that point.
Oh yeah.
And
it was balls to the walls.
Yeah.
It wasn't concerned about being realistic. It was just wanted to be a crazy monster movie.
Fights crazy, massive snake bat things.
Like a face hugger, but it can fly.
Yeah, it was like in Prometheus, that weird snake thing, but like the things coming out the side of his head.
And then he goes 0G up onto... He defies gravity and flies for a bit and goes to the upside world.
There's two gravities. There's like...
Once you cross over the halfway point.
It's like Inception when the buildings fold over and you got one side and then the other side.
It's odd that it's up and down, considering they're in the spherical centre of the Earth. And
I don't...
whatever.
Yeah. There were some cool visual moments. Like, if you're taking it super seriously, you'd be like, oh, fuck.
Well, it's extremely easy to nitpick everything in this movie.
But so King Kong basically makes his way into this massive chamber. There was one scary moment where he puts his hand up, and I thought, oh my god, is it going to be literal hand recognition?
I turned to you and I'm like, is it going to be a finger scan?
Where he like puts his hand there and then it all lights up. But no, it was just he had to push the thing, so it's fine.
But also, like, who made that? Was that other King Kongs that constructed a temple?
That's where it comes. Is there like an implication that there is...
Because there was a Kong sculpture in there.
A Planet of the Apes style civilization of King Kongs. Where like they're all, I guess,
1,000 feet tall King Kongs living in the middle of the earth having a society.
Cool. There was one King Kong, and Brendan Fraser sculpted him.
Yeah.
Brendan Fraser was that King Kong.
He was. He was George of the Jungle, and he then turned into King Kong, and then he journeyed to the centre of the earth.
And then he got spit out at Mount Vesuvius.
Into an Italian wine.
But so that's where he gets. My prediction was wrong that he'd steal the spine straight out of Godzilla's back. It's just kind of like the actually just lying there.
It's lying inside the skull of what I think was a dead Godzilla.
And so he sits down at what is implied to be the throne of
the Titans.
Titans, or whatever, and then. He eventually just kind of puts the axe down and it lights up a Godzilla.
Oh yeah, there's like a thing in the ground. It's the exact shape of the axe. And you gotta put it in and
it's like
powers it up.
Very subtle. Yeah. And then that sends a beacon to Godzilla, who is
Godzilla can sense that
the Mechagodzilla, and then he just burns his way to the
literally burns a hole through the middle of the earth. I don't know what the implications will be for the planet when there's a giant hole through
it. A massive gravity well in the ground.
I guess he's just made another tunnel, on his own.
I don't care. It was such a cool... Like, he looks like he's revving up to shoot it into the sky, and then he just... down at the ground.
Yeah, you see him look up, and then he just goes... Boom!
It's so easy to just get rid of, like, bodies just in the Godzilla infinite hole.
Yeah. So that's happened.
By evidence.
So that's happened, and we cut back to the three on the Godzilla side of the human characters, and they're in that gladiator chamber, and then up out of the ground rises...
like a laser tag arena.
Yeah.
So many ramps and stuff.
Up out of the ground rises this weird thing. What is it? Is it something? And then, of course, it unwinds itself. Mechagodzilla is in this movie.
It powers up. The spines click into place.
Not a huge fan of the look.
No.
I think everything bar the overall look of him. Like, his powers in this was so awesome. Like, you just had rocket boosters and missiles and everything and lasers.
I think I just didn't like... hands.
Yeah.
I didn't like the shape of his head. Or his hands could have been more clawy. I don't know.
Yeah, they look
It was
like
very square.
Yeah, they
it was
look
just
like-
3 pinches.
Like it was a claw game.
Yeah.
And then a skullcrawler comes out, and it looks like he's just gonna rip it, but then
Oh yeah.
he just slices it with his tail. Was it? Wait, how did he slice?
No.
He's
So
got the
he
drill tail.
grabs
Drill
it by
tail.
the 2 arms. He pulls it out, and then he just gets his
Oh,
atomic breath, and he
through.
just
I just go straight
lasers
down
the
the
thing entirely in half.
Where we find out that he's only got 40% laser breath because they need a source
and we find
Yeah.
from the hollow earth.
They're only using regular human.
and we find
Electricity
out
or something power it.
that Dr. Serizawa's son is working with Eiza González's dad, and that they're basically doing a Pacific Rim thing where they've got they're connecting their neural network to
Between 2 Ghidorah heads.
Yeah.
One of them that's built into Mechagodzilla
Yeah.
and one of them that's control room.
And then
Because
there was
Godzilla ate the other one, didn't he?
yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
they regenerate, so
Yeah.
infinite.
They've got infinite
Yeah.
Ghidorahs. So that's that, and then basically, so at that moment, King Kong rises, and we get round 2.
Ding ding.
Fuck, this fight was awesome.
Oh,
This is like perfect example of just utilizing everything at your disposal. The access, there was and they were really. It was really fast paced. It wasn't like the slow lumbering fights.
yeah, because you had got King Kong running through the city, jumping behind buildings, trying to get
Yeah.
away with the laser.
There were
Well, it wasn't long shots. It was kind of up close in the.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
And if there was long takes, I guess, of like where you're kind of following King Kong as he's jumping from tower to tower to just land a massive axe chop on King Kong, and the slow motion was used very sparingly, and it was only to emphasize that this punch is really gonna hurt someone.
Yeah.
Like moments just like King Kong ripping the top off a tower to use it as a shield and then throw it like a frisbee at Godzilla.
Now, which movie did more damage to its city? This or Man of Steel?
Man of Steel.
Yeah, somehow Man of
Steel.
They
Well-
were shoving Mechagodzilla's face through buildings.
Yeah, but at the end of Man of Steel,
There were
the whole
3 of
city
them.
is
You
like
see
pretty
the
much
city
gone.
central is just like that. It's a crater. Meanwhile,
Yeah, it looks like an asteroid is just taking out the whole
But also
metropolis.
there is the atomic breath, which kind of goes everywhere.
Well, there's
We
that-
don't know how far it's going.
and there's that
True.
famous there's that I guess that main building on the Hong Kong skyline which Batman jumps off in the Dark Knight. That one stayed standing the entire time because I guess they weren't allowed. I guess someone must have said you can destroy anything you want, just not that tower because that's iconic to us or something.
You reckon?
Yeah, I reckon.
I don't think anyone would
Usually
have
go
cared
for the
about that.
iconic ones.
Oh, I don't know. I reckon they wouldn't have been too. I don't know. Maybe there was something which said you can't
I
destroy
don't think the
that.
movie really cared about
I
what
want
it was taken
China.
down.
Well,
But it
because
was Hong Kong, wasn't it?
now
Well, which is currently being taken over by China, but you know, whatever.
Pacific Rim had one of their big fights in Hong Kong. I don't know what their level of destruction was nowhere near as this amount. This was carnage.
This was, using
Balls to the
using
walls.
a building as like a wall to pin someone against.
1 million people
Yeah.
died in this fight.
Well, like
Like-
King Kong's trying to get away from the laser breath, he climbs to the top of the building. Godzilla cuts it in half and then it
Yeah,
falls to the
with
ground
the
while
tail.
King Kong's on top
Yeah.
of it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was great. Yeah, the great little moments of this, like, yeah, we know Kong is only this big because he's got to fight Godzilla. Like, and I did like that sort of those reference points.
When
But-
they actually apply and the monsters aren't
However-
100 times smaller than they were the scene before.
And it does seem like King Kong wins the fight at first, but then...
Well, because he
Alex
does this
Skarsgård,
sweeping axe blow,
yeah,
and
Yeah.
they both get knocked back.
and then
like,
Alex
Kong takes some damage.
Alex Skarsgård just goes, he's just flying over, and because he's biased to Kong, he goes, I guess that means Kong wins round 2. And meanwhile, so Mechagodzilla, then we cut back to Mechagodzilla, and he basically, the Ghidorah heads sync up and basically say, oh, fuck Dr. Serizawa's son, electrocute the shit out of him.
Yeah, did he die? He died.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Ghidorah has taken control of Mechagodzilla, and he's AI now, essentially.
Yeah.
It was like in Transformers when Megatron takes over.
Galvatron
Yeah.
becomes Megatron. Yeah.
Galvatron.
It's like that. Ghidorah.
That fight was in Hong Kong as well.
Yeah, I thought they were going to go somewhere else, but the whole thing...
Why would they destroy our city?
Yeah.
Like the last...
Melbourne.
They could take the top of the National Gallery Victoria and use that as a fucking spear.
The last 45
Put a
minutes
photo
take
in for
place
reference.
in Hong Kong, doesn't it? It's like the last 45 minutes.
Hmm?
The last, 45 minutes of the movie takes place in Hong Kong, really.
Yeah. A good amount of it. Or at least when Godzilla gets there. So they fight. Well, then, after prematurely saying that Kong won round 2, they're back fighting at it again, and Godzilla goes full beast mode and pounds him into submission, puts his foot on the chest.
He's
He starts
digging his claws into his
Yeah.
chest and everything.
I loved the CGI on Kong, like his scars and that was really well done.
Well, the
And you could
CGI in
tell-
all of these movies is great.
He was hurting, and then they communicate or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Godzilla's roaring King Kong into submission, then King Kong roars back, and then... I don't know.
And then he's about to die.
And then Godzilla's just like, okay, I've won. We're done here. I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to leave.
The effort, punk.
Somehow the ending of their fight was better than the one from Batman v Superman. They can't even talk. They basically just...
I mean, one of them's standing over the other, about to kill them, and then spares them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's a lot better than Martha. And,
it's the execution, not the idea of that scene. It's so Godzilla wins the fight and it's basically
definitively
eases off.
Beats Kong.
And so Kong lies there because I think Godzilla must have done some serious damage to his heart. Heart slowing down. And then it's that moment when Mechagodzilla just grabs the evil Apex CEO and crushes him.
Mid, evil villain spear.
Yeah.
And the body language in that room, I'm sorry, if you're looking at the people you're talking to and you don't know that Mechagodzilla's behind you.
Yeah.
I love that. He was doing his feet and you see him out of focus, just slowly just look forward.
Well, the bad guy wasn't looking at the characters, he was kind of looking off in the distance, giving this grand speech. You just see Mechagodzilla coming in the background.
This was not Godzilla's equal, but he's superior. And then
man will be the Titan once more.
Which in a sense is the guy does have a point, right? We'd rather have something we can control instead of...
Well, that's why
Mechagodzilla's
got to go rogue, because... He has a point. I would rather a human control a monster than a monster.
And also, it does also feed into the fact, aliens control Mechagodzilla, because Ghidorah's an alien, and Mechagodzilla aliens stuff. He breaks out of the big mountain, which they're holding him in, and then Godzilla basically turns around and goes... Fucking seriously, mate.
Just wipe this guy up.
I just cleaned him up twice. And then...
I'm so tired. I want to go home to the hollow earth. They take a 3-year nap.
Yeah. So then they start going at it, and it's, once again, fast-paced carnage, but because Mechagodzilla's got about 50 different gizmos up his sleeve.
Well, he's got missiles and everything attached to him.
The fight is... Well, you can definitely tell it's Ghidorah, because they did such a good job of establishing Ghidorah's character that you can see those sort of aggressive fighting moves coming through in Mechagodzilla, which was really cool to see. But yeah, then, of course, so...
Mechagodzilla's kicking...
The little girl goes up and she touches the ground and feels that Kong's heartbeat's slowing down. This is the one bit where I was just like, wow, alright. He literally CPRs him with a spaceship.
Yeah, the spaceship thing they used to go to Hollow Earth. Skarsgård flies it above his chest, lands it, and
Clear!
He turns it on and he's just like, I'm out of here.
He runs and then he just goes...
He runs out of the spaceship. He's never climbing down.
No.
He's just on the ground. So there's a bit where he's running along that giant monkey.
They never showed him running on his chest, did he? They just cut him immediately off the chest.
And you just see Kong just go... And he brought back into life.
I just wanted to see him go... Whee!
Yeah,
as he slides down Kong.
Mechagodzilla's got the upper hand. He's about to blast the crap out of his face, and then, of course, Kong goes in, grabs him. There was almost a moment where Kong grabbed Godzilla and tried to do the old breaking.
You mean Mechagodzilla?
No, he did it to Godzilla early in their Hong Kong fight. He tried to do it, but didn't work too well. No. I loved moments where they would basically use their head and aim the laser breath in other...
Oh, yeah.
It's like Incredibles when he's got Jack.
Yeah, there was literally
one... as a gun.
There was this one great scene where Kong punched Godzilla and it almost came out like it was a laser blast. It was just like there was a blaster shot. But then they teamed up and it was really something awesome.
Yeah.
Mechagodzilla didn't last too long. It was like
No. It was about 2 minutes of him just getting crapped on by Kong.
It's that kind of Civil War dynamic where Iron Man could easily fuck up Captain America, but there's two of them and I can't focus long enough to take one out, and it's they just...
And then Godzilla, after taking that beating, just "Oi, Kong, let me give you a hand." And he blasts his axe with the...
he powers his axe with his...
Which was,
breath.
Godzilla fin, and he chops off his arm, leg, and then grabs Mechagodzilla's head and just rips it out. And he's holding the head.
How good was my bingo call? Godzilla would power the axe and King Kong would use it to kill Mechagodzilla.
He did do that, yeah. And
just want to put it out there. You
know what? The movie literally just had the characters reunite. Godzilla and King Kong look at each other.
Carl Chandler's I get to come back on set.
Yeah, he was
barely in the movie.
He was barely in the movie, which I don't have a problem with.
So quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the 6 main human characters that we had were fine enough as it was. They were way more interesting than any other character in Godzilla 2.
Or
Millie Bobby Brown, whoever wrote her character this time completely scrapped whatever they were doing last time. They made her a decent character.
She was a full-on conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, it was good.
It was sad that Ken Watanabe wasn't in this movie.
Yeah, it would have been.
He's always been the most enthusiastic, and I feel giving him the moment in the last movie was...
That was nice.
It was nice, but it's also
he wasn't around for this.
Imagine him being
let them fight.
Let all 3 of them fight.
Yeah. He is a Godzilla fan. That's what he is.
Maybe it would have been too reasonable to have been in this.
But the characters... so all the characters meet up and basically say, well, good thing that's done. And Godzilla and King Kong basically go... And then Godzilla walks into the ocean and Kong goes...
Whee! Jumps down the hole.
Kong jumps down the hole to go be king of the underworld.
If only he monkey flips down the hole, that would have been great.
So basically we will... If they make another Godzilla movie, which I don't think they will...
I don't see where you go from
You've literally done Ghidorah, Mothra, Rodan, and now Mechagodzilla.
And now these two have an understanding where they're we're happy to co-alpha this Earth and we'll just team up.
I feel next movie, Godzilla's just going to be in a deep slumber having a rest, and then King Kong could go on some other adventure.
Yeah, maybe they'll have a team-up movie eventually later.
I do not want aliens.
I think
if you have to go aliens,
I'm interested maybe in seeing a King Kong in the Underworld movie.
What?
But that's just Skull Island. But
not Skull Island.
What if there's a secret Hollow Earth monster that gets awakened or something? They got something else in there.
Okay.
Does something.
The Earth is a monster.
Oh my
God! Super. Yeah, there's a nuclear monster that's powering the Earth's core. And he awakens, and Godzilla and King Kong have to
That is the true Monster Zero.
And because he awakens, the Earth is frozen over in an
Ice
Age.
Oh my God!
And now Manny from Ice Age is fighting Kong.
Well, we got that Manny. We got Manny in Godzilla 2. Remember? But yeah, the movie kind of just said, "All right, characters reunite. You guys go in the water. Kong go home, and Kong beats his chest, and movie ends." And it was Wow.
Well, yeah, they've got the monitoring facility down in Hollow Earth. They're watching King Kong.
Yeah.
King Kong.
There was no
It was
cliffhanger.
so hard to get into that Hollow Earth at the start, but by the end they had like everyone down there.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, got a whole mini town ready to go.
Oh, it's just the best, you know, and like Kong walks up and he's like, "How you doing?" And the
So,
human's like, "Hey,
you know,
Kong."
They've got a Starbucks going, you know. Just
Remember how Vera Farmiga wanted to like unleash the Titans so they destroy Earth? Like, why didn't anyone tell her about this other place you could go instead, where, you know, it hasn't been fucked up? Just go live there, lady.
I mean, just watch the first Godzilla and then skip all the other movies and watch
Oh,
this.
you
You're
can
just
watch
like,
Kong. No,
what is
I'd
going
say
on?
watch Godzilla 2014 and watch Kong Skull. But the problem is there are characters.
Watch all of these once.
Yeah.
And you can repeat Godzilla.
I actually don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Because after this movie, in terms of cinematic universes, this has jumped like.
What, how many cinematic movies are there now? We've got the MCU, the DC, this
MCU is absolutely
the Conjuring universe, the failed Dark universe. Is there anything else?
I mean, they're always trying to build the Pirates universe, but
that'll never
That's
work.
just a franchise, really.
you see, if this is the last entry in this MonsterVerse, which I doubt it will be, then
Oh, it definitely won't be. They'll make something else.
It's a 4-part, really solid.
I mean, if you thought at the end of Endgame that it's like, oh, what are Marvel gonna do now?
They have a bajillion characters.
Marvel have more characters.
In terms of
like Godzilla characters, King Kong characters do not have the legs to continue.
No.
And if they pull it off, good for them.
Well, I mean,
but
Marvel eventually went into the weird characters, like Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe.
Yeah, but there's a difference between you've got all these monsters who can't talk, and this movie was really surprised me in how well they did it. But
Well, King Kong started to talk.
Yeah, I doubt how long they can keep this going if they want to keep it going.
But these movies can only be at the best punch.
Because for me, after seeing this story and the cohesion it has, it's worked better than, say, it has more cohesion than DC.
Oh,
It
yeah.
has more cohesion. Even Star Wars, I don't know, maybe, more cohesion than, like any dark universe
No,
stuff.
for me,
That
the
never-
mummy is king of everything.
I know they tried it with Ghostbusters, they tried it with Amazing
They
Spider-Man.
tried and are trying it with Ghostbusters.
I mean,
Are they making another one?
Yeah.
I guess... I guess,
Oh, wait, yeah, they are, aren't they?
I guess...
Oh, my God.
I guess given that, the new Disney movies have been, like, they've been all over... They've been a tad... Well, not all over the place in terms of quality, just in story. And The Mandalorian, I think, is what kind of tries to tie it in. I'd probably go Marvel, Star Wars, MonsterVerse.
Star Wars shows are breaking their back trying to link everything together.
But I would say Marvel, Star Wars, MonsterVerse, DC?
Sure.
I'd prefer The Conjuring over DC.
What? Annabelle, that's it.
Annabelle
Oh,
comes
yes.
home.
Annabelle and the Nun. Are you really going to take them?
The Conjuring 2 are good movies.
The Curse of the Weeping Woman.
Is that part of it?
La Llorona.
Yeah, that's one of them, isn't it? Or is it not?
I
don't
thought
know,
that
they're all
I
this-
didn't think they got good reviews.
But it's part of that universe, right?
I mean, The Nun is the greatest horror movie of the 21st century, right?
I never saw
no,
it.
it goes Annabelle 3, Annabelle 2,
Are there three
Annabelle
Annabelles?
7, Annabelle 1, and then Bride of Chucky. Those
Alright.
are my favourite Annabelle
Well,
movies ranked.
If we want, we'll do a Spotify bonus episode where we keep on talking about all this crazy shit. Thanks for watching our spoiler review,
Wait.
though.
What about the bingo? We need to announce who the bingo winner is.
Adam won bingo. He got 5 or 4.5, and all
We'll
the
go
rest.
5.
Yeah,
And
Let's just
Bingo
round it up
will
tonight.
not be returning.
yeah. We'll do it for Cruella.
No, he won't.
Yeah, so we're just going to record a bit of a tangent after this. We'll do 10 minutes of tangent on Spotify bonus episode. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. That's been Harry.
Hello!
Oh my god, he's exposed his hand.
This is Adam.
Goodbye.
I'm
Hello.
Tyrone. Bye, guys. Enjoy your Godzilla vs. Kong. Go check it out.
If you can.
10 out of 10. Best movie ever.